I was sitting in my car, literally hiding from a process server who was trying to serve me papers for a lawsuit over an unpaid credit card. I had a six-figure salary, a closet full of suits, and a social life that looked like a movie. But the truth? I was 28 years old, and I was insolvent. I hadn't just spent my money. I had spent my future. Hi, I'm Daniel Brooks, and you're watching Wealthic Voyage. Today, we're diving into the brutal reality of how I teetered on the edge of bankruptcy, not because I was unlucky, but because I made three silent, deadly mistakes that almost cost me everything. Let me ask you a question. When you look at someone driving a nice car or living in a luxury apartment, do you assume they are rich? I used to be that person you looked at. At 26, I landed a corporate job that paid me $85,000 a year, plus bonuses. In my mind, I had made it. I was a success story. But here is the first mistake that nearly destroyed me. I confused income with wealth. Have you ever heard the phrase, matching your lifestyle to your income? It sounds harmless, right? You get a raise, you upgrade your life. That's the American dream. But for me, it was a nightmare. I fell into what I call the Instagram trap. I was bombarded with images of success, watches, travel, fine dining, and I wanted to belong. I wanted to validate my new title. Within 6 months of getting that job, I leased a BMW that cost me $750 a month. I moved into a downtown apartment with a view that ate 40% of my take-home pay. I bought suits. I bought the latest tech. I wasn't wealthy. I was just a high-income, poor person. I remember going out to dinner with friends. The bill would come, and to keep up the appearance of being the successful one, I'd put it on my card. "I got this," I'd say, smiling, while inside I was doing mental gymnastics, praying my credit limit could handle it. Why do we do that? Why do we sacrifice our peace of mind for an image? It's because we are chasing a dopamine hit. We think that if we look rich, we'll feel rich. But the math doesn't care about your feelings. This leads me to the second mistake, the vehicle of my destruction: credit cards. Now, credit cards aren't evil, they are tools. But in the hands of someone with an ego and no budget, they are loaded guns. I had this mindset that I was playing the game. I was getting points. I was getting cash back. I was leveraging debt. But here is what the bank doesn't tell you when they approve you for a $20,000 limit. They aren't giving you money. They are selling you a rope to hang yourself with. I started carrying a balance, just a small one at first, maybe $1,000. I told myself I'll pay it off next month when the bonus comes. But the bonus came and I bought a watch. Then the balance grew. $5,000. Then $10,000. I started using balance transfer offers to move debt around, chasing 0% APR offers. It felt like I was solving the problem, but I was just shuffling deck chairs on the Titanic. Have you ever looked at your total debt and felt physically sick? That was me. At 28, I had $45,000 in high-interest consumer debt. I was paying $200 a month just in minimum payments and interest. That was money that could have been investing. That was money that could have been travel. Instead, it was a penalty fee for my own impatience. I was working the entire month of January just to pay the banks. I was a slave to my own lifestyle. But there was a third mistake, one that is even more dangerous because it's subtle. It wasn't the car or the rent, it was the little things. This is the one nobody talks about. The latte factor gets mocked, but the principle is real, just scaled up. I didn't track my spending. I refused to look at my bank app because I was scared. I lived in a state of willful ignorance. Let me paint a picture of a typical week for 28-year-old me. Monday, coffee and bagel on the way to work, $12. Tuesday, lunch with the team, $25. Wednesday, forgot to prep dinner, ordered Uber Eats, $40, including fees and tip. Thursday, drinks after work, $50. Friday, a little treat for myself, because I had a hard week, $80. By the end of the week, I had spent over $200 on absolutely nothing, just convenience, just mindless spending. Multiply that by 52 weeks, that's over $10,000 a year. Gone, vanished. I couldn't tell you where it went. I didn't have memories from it. I didn't have assets. I just had emptiness. See this jar? That's your bank account. You can pour water in, income, but if you have cracks at the bottom, mindless spending, you will never fill it up. You can make $200,000 a year, but if your leaks are big enough, you will still go bankrupt. I was leaking money everywhere, subscriptions I didn't use, gym memberships I forgot to cancel, insurance deductibles that were too low because I wanted low monthly payments. It was a chaotic, undisciplined mess. So, what happened? How did the house of cards fall? It took one event, just one. My car broke down, the transmission blew, the repair bill was $4,500. I didn't have $4,500. I had $200 in my checking account, and my credit cards were maxed out. I remember sitting in the mechanic's office. The hum of the air conditioner was deafening. He looked at me, waiting for an answer. I felt the heat rise to my cheeks. I had to call my dad. At 28 years old, making $90,000 a year, I had to ask my father for money to fix my car. That moment broke me. The shame was heavier than the debt. I realized then that my ego was writing checks my bank account couldn't cash. I wasn't making it. I was drowning, and I was doing it to myself. The lawsuit I mentioned at the start? That happened because I missed payments on one of those maxed-out cards, and I ignored the letters. I was too scared to open the mail. That's the psychology of poverty. It makes you hide. It makes you avoid reality. I didn't declare bankruptcy. I was lucky. I had a family safety net that helped me pay the lawyer and settle the debt. But not everyone has that. I had to rebuild. I sold the BMW. I broke the lease on my apartment and moved into a tiny, cheap studio. I cut up the credit cards. It took me 4 years of living like a monk to clean up the mess I made in 2 years of living like a king. I want to leave you with this one life lesson. Money is not just math. Money is emotional. Money is psychological. The mistakes I made, confusing income with wealth, using debt to fund a lifestyle, and ignoring the small leaks, weren't math errors. I knew better. I was bad at math, but I wasn't that bad. They were character flaws. I valued status more than freedom. I valued now more than tomorrow. If you are watching this and you feel that knot in your stomach, listen to it. That's your wake-up call. Stop worrying about what other people think. The people you are trying to impress don't care about you. They are too busy worrying about their own debt. Start valuing your sleep more than your image. Start valuing the freedom to say no more than the ability to buy yes. It's not about depriving yourself. It's about paying yourself first. It's about realizing that true wealth isn't what you buy. It's the feeling of security you have when you wake up in the morning. Don't wait until the process server knocks on your door to learn this lesson. Look at your leaks today. Look at your ego today. And make the hard choice now so you can have an easy life later. Thanks for watching. If this story hit home, do me a favor. Share it with one person who needs to hear it. I'll see you in the next video.